Hey guys, welcome to today's reading. This one is all about your June forecast. So we're going to be seeing what's happening in the month of June 2024 for you, what you can expect, what you should look forward to, all the information we can get. And today we have a selection of different paintings for you to choose from. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. And basically you're going to see which of these paintings is sticking out to you, calling your name, drawing your attention in towards it, and then as soon as you make up your mind, just scroll down to the timestamps in the comments and the description and jump right into your pile. By the way, just a friendly little reminder that you want to make up your mind based on the painting that is drawing you in energetically, not necessarily the one you find the prettiest or the one you think is the best, but just let your mind be made up by the energy that is pulling you in, tugging at you, calling to you, the same way you would decide for any other pick a card reading. So with that being said, if you want to see more of my content, you should head over to my Patreon. I just posted a reading all about your sexiest quality, so that's a fun, spicy 18+ reading. And then before that, I posted one about what you're manifesting as well as what you're carrying with you from past lifetimes. That's a deep spiritual one, but there's so many different readings to choose from, over 85 exclusive readings you'll only get access to on Patreon. There are love readings, career readings, money readings, every kind of topic under the sun you could imagine we have over on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So if all that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you want to have a half-hour session, a full hour-long session, whether you want me to pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you, whether you want to get into some really specific questions or just have it be an open channeling session, however you want your session to go, it's totally okay, totally customizable, and you can book that for yourself at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So that's about all I have to say, guys. So if you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need, but we're going to go ahead and jump into pile one. Hey pile one, welcome to your reading. So let's get into your cards. So you guys got the Fool, the Ten of Cups, Tower, the King of Swords, and the Two of Wands. So it feels like there's some major planning happening in the month of June. I feel like a lot of you guys are maybe making some kind of major transition in this month, or some kind of a switch that I feel like is going to involve long-term planning. And for some of you guys, there could be something really coming to an end this month. It almost feels like you've been in a really happy period with that Ten of Cups, but maybe there's a transition into a new era. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it's almost like, okay, this was good, but now we've got to kind of like make some plans for the future, or we've got to kind of switch something out. I feel like there's something that you're kind of making the decision to either leave behind or continue, and I am feeling like you guys will continue with whatever that is. So I'm not sure what this would be for each of you. Of course, it's a general reading. Take what resonates and leave the rest. But it does feel like there's something that you're like going back and forth in your minds and kind of like trying to figure out how you're going to approach it, what you're going to do, what steps you want to take. And I do feel like you end up in the decision of like, yeah, I'm going to move ahead with it. I'm going to keep moving forward. So it doesn't feel like something that you are completely dumping in the past. It feels like something that you do intend to continue with, whatever this is. I also feel like with the King of Swords, again, there's a lot of like mental activity happening. And for some of you guys, this could be an increased social life is what I'm hearing. I feel like your life almost has more balance, or you are filling your emotional cup in other ways, whereas before maybe you were too much of a workaholic, or you didn't have as much emotional fulfillment, or maybe you had emotional fulfillment in like one area, but then you would neglect other areas. And I feel like you're getting much more balance in the month of June. It's almost like a recalibration where I feel like you're gonna be making these necessary changes that I feel like it's almost like they've been coming your way for a really long time. There's things that maybe you have wanted to address, or you've been needing to address, or you have thought you should address, but you haven't really dealt with them yet. And I feel like in the month of June, it kind of comes to a head, and then you're like, okay, let me just deal with this now. So for some of you guys, there could be a bittersweet ending or something that winds to a close. But again, I feel like whatever that is, it's not completely being left behind entirely. So if there's something that you've been stressing about, like, yeah, this is ending, you know, almost like one of those things where, I don't know, for example, you're graduating college and you're like, oh, I'm never going to see my friends again. And then you realize afterwards, like, oh, I can still hang out with them. Just maybe we don't see each other every day like we used to. We don't share an apartment, but I get to still see them on the weekends and when we go out, you know, on the weekdays too. So I feel like there's a sense of like, okay, let me not stress as much about this, but it does feel like it requires some planning and some kind of like hard discussions for yourself of like what you want to do and how you want your future to be. So I am seeing some of you guys, if you are thinking of making a move, I feel like this month you may stay put, or there may be a like planning thing, but I'm not necessarily, I get the vibe that for some of you guys, there's something you've really considered like putting in the past and you're very much deliberating like, oh, should I do it? Should I just leave? And I feel like whatever this is, like you're not going to leave or you're not going to move or whatever. It feels like there's something still unfinished or unaddressed that needs to continuously play out. The energy isn't like winding to a close yet. It's kind of like spiraling that, but I almost feel like it's not going to end. So maybe that's some closure that someone needs about that situation. I don't know. Let's get into some more tarot though. So we want to know what is happening in the month of June for pile number 1. What is happening in the month of June for pile number 1? So we got the Wheel of Fortune. I am seeing you guys go out more and have fun more, like almost like going out, socializing, partying, that kind of a thing. Ooh, the High Priestess. I'm seeing some of you guys are taking your dreams a lot more seriously, and also I'm feeling some of you guys will get a dream journal, but I'm feeling like your guides, angels, ancestors, they're really communicating to you through your dreams. So if you haven't been paying attention, if you have been ignoring your dreams, I feel like that really becomes more and more important in the month of June, where you're like, oh, I can't ignore this anymore. Like, this is so clear, this is so obvious, or these dreams have been getting more and more specific, more and more prophetic, and they just always come true. And I feel like you're really diving down deep into your spirituality. I'm seeing some of you guys come up with a new spiritual ritual, spiritual practice in this month of June. And it's like, it may be almost unignorable, because I feel like there's times in the past when you have gotten downloads or when you have had really deep psychic insights, but sometimes you tend to brush it off or be like, oh, that's weird. Yeah, well, it's probably a coincidence. Yeah, I had this dream and then this happened, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was just a dream, and maybe it was on my mind because it was gonna happen and I was already thinking of it. You know what I mean? And you kind of brush it off and you kind of ignore it. And I feel like in the month of June, it's going to be like, oh, I can't ignore this anymore. Like, this is really real. This is happening. And I have to kind of admit this to myself. I have to confront this, because I feel like your gift, your guides are going to make it more and more clear. And even you may feel like you're getting communication from animals in the month of June is what I'm hearing as well. There's a strong connection to animals coming through for some reason. Maybe if you have pets, you'll just be really close with them this month, spending a lot of time cuddling with them. Or you may find that, like, you know, when you're stressed about something or you're walking out in nature and you're, you know, upset and you're looking for a sign, that you suddenly see a flock of birds that mean something to you, or some animal that is a spiritual symbol for you appears. And I feel like animals are going to be a theme for you for some reason in this month, and it does connect through with your spirituality. I also feel like I can see, again, a lot of you guys socializing more in the month of June and going out more, and I feel like that's something that your guides are really happy about, almost like you putting more energy into that sector of your life of friendship and, you know, other people. And especially I feel like there's an emphasis on friends and possibly dating if you're single. Of course, if you're in a relationship, probably not dating someone new, maybe dating your partner. But for those of you guys who are single, maybe you could be going out more and meeting people. And for those of you guys who are partnered up, it may be you're going out more with friends and you're, you know, meeting more of like social acquaintances who aren't going to be necessarily a romantic connection, but I feel like it's almost like you're trying to get more balance in your life, because I feel like there's been a vibe almost of things being a little off balance, or there's almost been like too much intensity for some of you guys, too much emotional intensity at times. And I feel like almost like June is like a, okay, let me retreat a little bit. Let me step back from this and let me kind of like work on my own self-calibration. So I feel like for some of you guys, you're just getting a lot deeper. It's almost like you're getting to the point of shadow work where you realize not everything has to be like this deep purging. Not everything has to be so intense and Plutonian. Sometimes we can do shadow work and it can feel more like Libra energy, or it can feel like Pisces energy that can be a little gentler, you know, than like that heavy Scorpio, Plutonic, deep, going to the depths of your soul energy. It can be a little more chill than that. So yeah, I feel like for you guys this month feels like you're taking a step back, maybe even working on being less emotionally reactive or something, or a little bit more calm, or just emotionally more fulfilled in all areas of your life, so you're not as overwrought with certain things. Like I feel like I could see this being a month when you guys implement self-care practices or an exercise regime, or being like, okay, every day I'm going to take a daily walk, or I'm going to meditate every day, and almost like working this into your routine, or making sure that you're emotionally balanced by taking these steps in advance, you know, like not waiting for it to come to a point where you're ready to explode or you're ready to get really mad, but kind of like, how can I get myself more emotionally balanced? How can I make myself more calm? How can I make myself feel better, and kind of take a bird's eye view of certain issues? And I feel like there's almost a vibe that there's certain situations for some of you guys as well that you may be ready to check out of, because I think sometimes when we find that we're constantly in a situation that is triggering us all the time, or there's a situation that really upsets us, sometimes we reach that point where we do feel more calm, but it's also like that's when we're kind of checking out of it. That's kind of when we're like, you know, I'm done, because I shouldn't even have to feel this way. I shouldn't have to be so upset all the time. I feel like some of you guys are struggling with a decision like that. Like there's a situation that just has bothered you for the longest time, and it's almost like you're feeling beaten down, or you're feeling like, I don't know if I can take much more of this, and you might be like, yeah, I'm going to stick with it a little bit longer, but you're almost like gaining your inner strength as well, if that makes sense. Yeah, let's get some more cards for pile number 1. What is happening in the month of June for pile number 1? What is happening in the month of June for pile, oh, okay. The Sun, ooh, and the 5 of Wands, okay. Let's get one more. Temperance, that's definitely an energy that I feel like if I was going to pick one card to sum up the vibe of this month, it would honestly be the Temperance card. It feels like there's a very calm energy, but it's almost like a deliberate calm, like making a choice to be calm, like situations that may be kind of falling down around you like the Tower, but you're choosing to choose calm. You're choosing to be chill about it, and it's not like just chill because there's nothing happening. It's like, I'm gonna just not overreact. I'm just gonna be in a good place about this, and I'm gonna relax and kind of let this situation unfold and be whatever it's going to be. I don't know what this is for a lot of you guys, but I feel like in the month of June, you're really working on your own emotional balance and kind of filling your emotional cup so that you're not as easily triggered by whatever other situations. And I honestly think that's one of the best things we can do for self-growth. And funnily enough, a lot of times when we choose to be non-reactive, when we choose like, I'm not going to fight with this situation anymore, I'm not going to overreact, I'm not going to scream, I'm not going to cry, a lot of times that's the time when we decide, you know what, I want to leave, because this situation, we can finally see it clearly. It's almost like if we are screaming and crying and overreacting to a situation, then we can kind of blame ourselves for it too. Like in retrospect, you know, when we're looking back on it, we can be like, yeah, they did this, but then I got really mad, and it almost takes the blame off that person or that situation and kind of puts it on ourselves halfway. Whereas if we just were as calm as a cucumber and really chill about it, as cool as a cucumber, then maybe we would have to actually confront that what's happening is really uncool and not okay. So I feel like for some of you guys, this is like taking a step back energy in the month of June and really getting more powerful in your own energy and being very selective. I actually feel like you guys are really stepping into your power this month and choosing to leave a certain situation behind that I feel like has been upsetting you for a really long time. And almost like finding your own personal power. We do have the Sun card, and the Sun is the ultimate energy of finding your own personal power. Of course, everyone jokes about Leos being like narcissistic and stuff like that. And I don't think that's the case, but I think people may feel that way because the Sun is always going to be confident in itself. The Sun is always going to be burning brightly and focusing on their own journey. And actually, that's a really beautiful thing. It's not a bad thing, and it doesn't mean someone's evil or a narcissist or whatever. And I feel like you guys are really choosing to like funnel your own energy back into yourself. And for some of you guys, this could even be being more public facing in the month of June. So you might choose to post more on your Instagram or make a TikTok or be more active if you have any kind of social media accounts. I feel like it's almost like I'm not going to hide anymore, or I'm not going to keep myself small anymore. I'm going to put myself out there and be as bold and bright and shine as much as I can. So I feel like there's some situation that's almost been like eating away at you, or there's been a situation where you have needed or felt like you needed to keep yourself small and almost like you didn't want to be as bright as you could. You didn't want to glow up as much. And I feel like in the month of June, you're really going to kind of look at this very clearly and kind of like take stock of everything that's happening and take stock of how you feel. Because again, whenever you feel like burnt out by a situation, beaten down by a situation over the long term, like that's such a warning sign. Sometimes we take it as like, oh, it's my problem. I just get upset easily. Is it your problem, or is someone making you feel horrible? Like I always think, sometimes someone will say, well, I'm depressed and it's because, I don't know, I just get really upset. My boyfriend is cheating on me and he talks down to, and it's like, do you actually have clinical depression, like a chemical imbalance in your brain? Or are you completely, perfectly, everything balanced and you're having a completely sane reaction to someone who's treating you like a jerk? Like that's exactly how you should feel. You should be upset in this moment. So I don't know. I feel like there's something with you needing to kind of retreat and get very clear about your emotions or about what's happening for you in your head, and kind of like taking stock of everything, I guess. So I want to get into some more cards for you. I'm going to clear these first, and then we're going to do some oracle cards for you, pile number 1. So we want to know what is happening for pile 1 in the month of June. What is happening for pile 1 in the month of June 2024? Stranger curiosity. Oh, that's exciting. Okay. Empty well, time to replenish. Okay. Garden of Venus, rest and renewal. And let's get one more. Will-o'-the-wisp, treasures hidden in the shadows. I also feel like this could be a really good month. I've been mentioning this self-care vibe, and the Garden of Venus card is definitely making me think of that. Think of like pampering yourself more, thinking of like getting a massage or booking yourself a facial or whatever. I feel like it's almost like you've been giving and over giving, and it's time for you to take your energy back and pour it back into yourself. We got empty well, time to replenish. So I think this would be a good month for you to really think about relationships where you have been overextending yourself, putting more in than you've been getting back, relationships where you don't feel as valued, and almost like taking stock of that with treasures hidden in the shadows. Some of you guys may be surprised because maybe you have relegated yourself mentally to like, oh, this is just what I have to tolerate, this is just how it is, and this is just what I'll put up with, and there's nothing I can do about it. And now it's kind of realizing like, oh, I actually have a lot of other options. Treasures hidden in the shadows. So it may be things you're not seeing right off the bat. It may not be things that are as obvious to you, but they do exist. They are there, and you're not crazy. They are there, hidden away, and it may take a little more effort for you to find them, or for you to like expose yourself and open yourself up to that. But I feel like you're kind of realizing your own magic this month, and that's the beautiful thing. Is I feel like there's almost this energy of you guys taking your power back and realizing your own potential, realizing who you are. And I feel like maybe this could come in the form of a new relationship or someone who wants to date you. I feel like some of you guys are pouring this energy back into yourself on a deep level that you haven't had before. Like in the past, maybe you really kept yourself small, or you made excuses or whatever. I feel like this month is almost like taking no prisoners. Like, even though you're doing it in a quiet Venusian way, you're not doing it in like a bold Aries way of like, it's me and I'm putting myself out there. But I feel like you are choosing to kind of take a step back from situations that don't serve you, and you're choosing to funnel your energy into situations that are going to be much more emotionally supportive and supportive in various ways for you. I feel like there's an energy of almost like pause, rest, and stillness, because it's almost like you guys have been scrabbling around trying to fix something, trying to change something, and trying to improve a situation. And I feel like now you're kind of like, I'm just going to let this situation be whatever it's going to be, and I don't really care what happens. So in the month of June, I feel like whatever this is, it just feels like you are making a really strong choice to pour any energy you have given to others back into your own cup. And I think you're being asked by Spirit in this reading to be very careful and clear about what that is. Where have you overextended yourself? Where have you not put work in? Where have you given more to others and kind of neglected yourself? I think you're really going to be asking yourself that question in the month of June. And I feel like some of those relationships where someone has been taking a lot from you, or someone hasn't really been giving back much, those may fall off, and you may find yourself kind of adrift from that. But I actually feel like it could be really freeing. And I feel like there's also an energy of other people recognizing your energy. We got the Stranger card. So there's a lot of people who are like curious about you. There's a lot of people who are seeing you and admiring you and noticing you this month. And I feel like even in your own close existing personal relationships, there may be shifts within your personal relationships with people who took you for granted, and can see this shift in your energy field and can see you taking your power back. I could see you guys, even this could be not just in relationships, but like at work, getting promoted from a boss that took you for granted previously and just kind of assumed you were always going to be there. And now they're like, well, what about a benefits package? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's a shift with the power dynamic that you guys are choosing to seize your power back in the month of June. So let me get into some of these cards. For the month of June, we want to know what is going to be happening for pile number. I'm hearing some of you guys could be going on a trip, but it feels like whatever you do on this trip, a lot of it is about you and pampering yourself and looking after your energy. I also, community, spending a lot of time with friends. I feel like that does a lot for you, like connecting with others, or family. If you're close to your family, if you have like sisters you're close to or something, maybe spending time with them. I feel like you're finally getting some recognition that you really wanted for a really long time. I'm also hearing a message that for some of you guys, you have a lot of people who are envious of you. And in the month of June, I feel like some of these like ops are kind of like falling off, or they can't compete anymore. I feel like whatever it is, it kind of comes to a head with that. Woman holding a heart, broken heart, all tied up. Yeah, I can see this broken heart energy. I can feel it because it feels kind of sad. Like, it feels like this energy has been sticking around for a while, and maybe it's someone, again, a person, a place, a thing, a workplace, whatever, not treating you with respect or not giving you all the attention and love you deserve. And I feel like this is the month, pile number one, when you're going to be like, I deserve so much better. I deserve someone who makes me feel amazing. I deserve someone who cherishes me and treats me with respect. I deserve someone that makes me feel cherished, not someone that makes me feel trapped, not someone that makes me feel like I'm in a trauma bond, or not a workplace that stresses me out, or not a friendship that makes me feel overly taxed. Whatever it is, I feel like you're getting very clear about what you deserve. And again, I also feel like there may be people who are seeing you and quite envious of you, because I also feel like you look really good in the month of June. Some of you guys are physically very glowed up this month. And I feel like you're getting a lot of attention this month, to be honest. Like, I feel like even if you just walk outside your house and pop into the local convenience store or whatever, you're going to have eyes on you. You're going to have people looking at you. And some of you guys look really, really good. And this is what I love, is like, I feel like you are taking back your power in that sense. You are really stepping into your highest vibe. And a lot of you guys are no longer going to be kind of dumbing yourself down, or making yourself feel small in order to make anyone else happy. Like this is about real empowerment and stepping into your energy and being as powerful as possible. Let me get some astrology dice for you. Pile number 1. We want to know what's going to be happening for pile 1 in the month of June. Okay, so we got the sun again. We got Sagittarius, which matches up with that Wheel of Fortune, and we got the 9th house again. Okay, let's spin it one more time. 10th house. Okay, so we have Leo, Sagittarius, and Capricorn. So let's start with Capricorn since we spun that twice to get that. Capricorn is the house of honors, public reputation. It's also the house of work and career. Your career may be going really well, and I also feel like you guys may be getting, again, public recognition, people noticing you on a deep level that they haven't before, people paying attention to you and getting some kind of a clout, getting some kind of esteem or public awareness of you. And for some of you guys, maybe putting yourself out there more publicly, you know, having people notice you, having people see you on your social media instead of hiding away. For a lot of you guys as well, I could see a lot of travel happening this month, maybe spiritual retreats or going out with friends. I feel like there's a vibe of you really doing that spiritual work, and we see that with Sag as well. Sag is a very spiritual sign ruled by Jupiter, and there's a lot of spirituality in Sagittarius in the 9th house. And so I feel like you guys are really diving down deep into your spiritual gifts, your spiritual talents this month, and also into kind of like energy work. Like I feel like you're learning to play with your energy and you're learning how powerful your energy is. Sometimes we overgive our energy and we don't realize that the more we do that, the more we give it away, the less people value it. The more we try to make someone like us, the less they do. It's a weird counterintuitive thing. Like I can think back to days when before I, started really pulling tarot, but when I would be sitting with friends and giving them like a lot of advice, and in retrospect, I think some of the time I was channeling and I would tell them things about and all my friends would say stuff like, oh, I need you to meet, this guy I've been seeing first because you always have the best read on people. So I want your opinion on him. So I'd end up meeting their boyfriends and I'd be like, yeah, I don't like him, or I do like him, or whatever. And in retrospect, I'm like, oh, I was totally channeling and I was totally doing spiritual work. But at the time, because it was as a friend, and I wasn't like, I never got that respect. And sometimes I'd say, yeah, I really don't like him. And I got a bad vibe around him. And they just like completely ignore it, or I'd be talking them through their breakup and trying to give them spiritual wisdom and no one would care. And it's so funny how the more you try, the more you give, the more you like give this away, the more people are like, oh, it's worthless, oh, no thanks, that's okay, why are you even telling me this? And the more you wait for that invitation, the more you wait for someone to value you, and the more you know your own power, the more people will actually receive it and be grateful for it. And I feel like that's a lesson you're learning, is like how powerful your energy is, pile 1. You don't need to give this away to everyone. You don't need to be so much. You don't need to be doing all that in order to get people to appreciate you. Either they do or they don't, and that's all you need to know. So you're really finding your power this month. We have the sun as well, and again, that could be more public acclaim, showing yourself off more in public. And also with the sun, it could also be more physical. I almost feel like you're needing to rest a lot this month, maybe sleep more, but I feel like you're also finding your power, finding things that give you excitement. The sun also correlates to the 5th house of like fun hobbies, creative hobbies. And I feel like you're really diving into the things that make you feel like you, and kind of like stepping back into your energy instead of an energy where you would prioritize others over you or try to twist yourself into a pretzel to make certain people like you or to fit in or whatever. That feels like it's over. And I feel like you guys are really harnessing your own energy and stepping into it super strongly this month. So that is what I have for you. Pile number 1. I really hope that resonates. If it does, let me know down in the comments. I love hearing from you guys, so I would love to know what you think as always. Make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button, and subscribe. And if you want to see more of my content, head on over to my Patreon. I just posted a reading all about your sexiest qualities. So that's a fun 18+ spicy reading. And we also have readings about what you're manifesting that I just posted, as well as what you're carrying with you from past lifetimes, spiritual reading, and there's so many readings, over 85 exclusive readings, love readings, career readings, any kind of reading you could imagine, we have over there. And you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So they always get posted over there first. If all that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me over on Patreon. Also, if you guys are interested in booking a private one-on-one session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. So head to the link in my description for briarrosetarot.com and book a slot with me and ask me whatever questions you want. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm sending you lots of love and light, and I will see you again very soon in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey Pile 2, welcome to your reading. So let's get into your tarot. You guys got the Two of Swords, the Temperance card, aka the Feralt on this deck, the Princess of Swords, the High Priest, aka the Hierophant, and the Six of Wands. So I feel like there is a professional achievement happening for you guys in the month of June. It feels like there's some leveling up with your career and like a big moment of accomplishment, of achievement, of recognition. Even if this is like not career, it could even be like a hobby or something. But I feel like you're putting some work into something and you're finally seeing it pay off. It's like maybe something you've been at it for a while, but you were kind of plodding along, and it's almost like you get a burst of new wind, you know, you get a kind of like shock of energy that like puts some pep back in your step and makes you want to work harder and makes you want to do more. And I feel like that pays off and you do get recognition. Like people are starting to see you as more of an authority in this field. I feel like people are starting to really recognize everything you've been doing, and there's like a paying off energy that's happening. The Princess of Swords also corresponds to the Page of Swords, and the Page of Swords, when it comes to career, can specifically deal with things that have to do with communication, career paths that deal with communicating. So like anything involving writing or speaking of any kind of field. So whether you're talking about being a salesperson or a radio announcer or a YouTuber or a writer, anything that deals with communication of any kind, we definitely can see that with the Page of Swords. So I feel like for you guys, this could have to do with anything that has to do with communication. There may even be a discussion that you've been wanting to have or that you've been putting off, and maybe you weren't sure how to address it, or you were kind of nervous, and you get the download of exactly how you should go about it, exactly how you should approach it. And I feel like one thing that's coming through is you're really learning to handle yourself with a lot of grace and decorum. I feel like you guys are really finding your own personal power this month and almost like coming at things from a much more calm place, a much more calm perspective. It feels like in the past you may have been more emotionally overwrought or easily triggered, or like you would get upset about things. And I feel like you're kind of finding your own inner peace, your own authority, and learning to manage your power, learning to come at things from more of a patient perspective as well with this Temperance card, the Feralt on this deck. I never know how to pronounce that. But yeah, learning to be a little bit more patient and calm about things, a little bit more maybe rational instead of emotional. And so you might not be flying off the handle or reacting as much. And I feel like that helps you find your power in these situations. I feel like you may also, I'm hearing some of you guys may have someone reaching out to you from your past in the month of June. So there may be someone that wants to talk to you about something, or almost I'm hearing like wants closure. I feel like this could be a friend. It could be romantic for sure. It could also be like an old family member or something. But I feel like there are people that you're really on their mind. And I feel like in a way they can see that you're thriving with the Six of Wands. So there's an energy that in June, like I said, there's some kind of public recognition, people noticing it, people who may have in the past told themselves, oh, pile 2 isn't doing so well, or, you know, things aren't going great from them. And I feel like in this month of June, it's like undeniable. Like I can't deny anymore how good pile number 2 is doing and how on fire they are and how successful they are. So I feel like you're really finding your stride, and there's like a success energy that really radiates off of you. People can see that you're doing really, really good, and it's almost like they, you know, there may be people from your past that are like regretting or missing or feeling like, oh, I really messed that up, and reflecting on that. So you may feel that in your consciousness. You may feel their attention tugging on you from the astral plane, and them just kind of like thinking on you. And I feel like for you, there's a vibe with you almost not caring anymore, or like putting up boundaries or being like, okay, like I appreciate that. I would have been really wanting to hear that 3 months ago or 3 years ago or whatever the timeline is. But now I've really done a lot of healing work and I'm kind of focused on this new lane. And I do feel like it could be career that you're focused on. It could be this hobby, but there's something that you're focused on that you are just loving. And I feel like you are very fulfilled by this. So it feels like it's a good month for career. It feels like things are thriving for you with that. And, honestly, it feels like whatever you're having to do with your career, you know how sometimes are always going to be better than others. Like someday at your job, you go in and you're like, yes, I love this. I love my job. You know, I feel really fulfilled. I had a great interaction with a customer. I brought a really good lunch to work. Everything's going great. And you're happy. You're talking to your coworkers maybe. And then you have those days or those weeks or those months where you're just slogging through. You're just being like, ugh, I hate this job. I want to quit. I hate it. And I feel like this is like a good month. This is one of those months where things are just flowing for you. Things are really, really good. Let me get into some more tarot for you. So we want to know what is happening for pile number 2 in the month of June 2024. What's going to be happening for pile number 2 in the month of June 2024? Ooh, the Lovers. Okay. And the Lovers can really be coming to a place of peace and like agreement with someone. You know, for me with the Lovers, similar to the Two of Cups, it really is that meeting someone eye to eye and really seeing them on such a deep level. And it's funny because we just got the Devil card, and the Devil card, as much as people are terrified of the Devil card, but it shows the Lovers on it. Literally shows the Lovers. It's very connected with the Lovers. And I feel like for you guys, this could even be, you know, one of those relationships that could be codependent, but there's like kind of romance in the Lovers. Like, even though it's a negative card and definitely has a lot of negative interpretations, and most of the time when you get it, it's not a great sign. Although I think people who don't do tarot, they're like terrified of the Lovers card. And I've funnily had multiple people ask me like, what would you do in a reading if you ever got the Lovers card, the Devil card, or you ever got the Death card? And I'm like, it happens all the time. It wouldn't really be that bad. It depends on the other cards. But I always think it's funny that people get so scared of that card. You know, it is a powerful card, but it's like, okay, chill a little bit because it's not that bad. But it's not a super positive card. But I feel like coming out right after the Lovers, there is that romance element to it. You know, there is something about it that is romantic, and that is when you're linking with someone and you really feel that soul connection, and it's almost you against the world, or you guys, no matter what, you know, going into like the worst situation and you guys are still holding hands, which you see with the two figures in the Devil card in the traditional like Rider-Waite deck and other decks. They're depicted holding hands, chained together. And I feel like for you guys, this is like maybe it could be meeting someone and being in a relationship and really feeling that super connected energy, really feeling aligned with them, and really feeling like you have someone on your side and no one can like get in the way of that, or no one can like pull you guys, you know, away from each other. You know, we even can see that with the Two of Pentacles. All the twos can be interpreted in romantic ways. And the Two of Pentacles could be people that are coming together to, you know, maybe for financial, not just financial reasons, but maybe they build a financial foundation together. It can be longevity in your relationship. It can be really finding that commonality and finding that kind of sense of connection. It can be a partnership that has to do with career. It can be finding someone who you work with that you really get along with. So this doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, but I feel like there's something that it's almost like you used to be in alignment with energies that didn't serve you as much, or energies that didn't fit quite as well, but you thought it fit at the time, but you may be discovering a new connection that makes you really realize what a beautiful connection can be like, and almost like, oh, I've been settling for something that wasn't actually that great. Like, why have I been hung up on something? And actually, now that I've experienced this, I realize how much better this is than that. And why was I waiting around for that person or that situation or that job or whatever the case is? Once you find that alignment with someone that really is on the same page with you, and you have that soul connection, maybe you have really beautiful synastry with like your moon or something in your synastry chart, it really is that moment of like realization of like, oh my God, why was I ever dealing with anything else? Like, why was I It's kind of like how when spring finally rolls around, even if you're a winter girl like me and you love winter, you have that realization after the first few days of winter and you're outside and it's so warm and it's so nice and you're maybe going through for a walk or something and there's flowers blooming and you kind of realize like, oh my God, I can't believe I was pent up all winter dealing with this. It's so much nicer to be outside. And I feel like you guys are kind of having that realization. I also, though, we got the Hermit, and that doesn't surprise me because I am getting a vibe that you guys, it feels like you're very focused on other things in your life. Like if this is a partnership, it may just be that some of you guys are coupled up and your partnership is going well enough that it really gives you that freedom to focus on your career or to focus on other things. I feel like it could even be being in a relationship, or even if you're not in a relationship, sometimes when you're dating someone, sometimes when you're flirting or you're interested in someone, you can kind of lose yourself in that other person, right? You can kind of like start forgoing your hobbies, your interests. Maybe you ate a certain way, but the other person doesn't really eat that way. So whatever, I'm just going to eat with you and I'm not going to make a big deal of it. Or you have a nightly routine, but you give that up for, just having an easy sleep schedule with that person and not wanting to do your like 50-point skincare regime like while you're staying over at their place. So you end up kind of like moving away from parts of yourself towards the relationship. And that's a normal part. I mean, that is the 7th house of Libra and merging and partnership, and the 8th house of definite merging. But I feel like for you guys, this could also be about almost like feeling safe enough in a relationship or feeling safe enough in your life to really focus on yourself and really to go into that place of what are my priorities and what are my interests. Even if you're single, this could be about stepping into that empowered energy, really focusing on yourself and your own glow up that actually ends up attracting you more people and actually makes people more drawn to you than they would have been if you had been more self-sacrificing, if you had been more selfless and been like, oh, let me try to make you happy and let me try to make myself look good for you. When you have that energy that's really confident in yourself, you exude a different energy. When you feel fulfilled in your life, when you have something that you're working on that you genuinely love and are passionate about, and you have filled your own cup emotionally that way, then it's like you radiate differently and people can be really drawn to that. It's like in the ancient Greeks, they debated a lot on what the meaning of life was, and they came to the conclusion that the meaning of life is eudaimonia, which is kind of something along the lines of having a personal mission that brings you that fulfillment and having balance in the rest of your life. And I would agree with that interpretation. I mean, they debated, is it hedonism? Is it just doing what's fun and pleasurable in the moment? Is it being extremely self-sacrificial to some cause and never having your own identity? But a lot of people, came to that conclusion that it is that eudaimonia, and that all of us as humans have a personal kind of mission that we feel like we need to satisfy. And it's not to say you can't have that in a relationship. Of course, some people's personal mission, their life story or their life soul goal is to like raise kids or to start a family or whatever, and that's totally beautiful. But I also think that there's something about having your own identity, your own purpose, your own joy that just is very magnetic, and it makes someone kind of glow differently when they feel fulfilled with that and when they feel confident in that. So I think that's why it's really important for all of us to figure out whatever that is. And I feel like for you, you seem very focused on that and excited about it. And I feel like there's almost like a new spring in your step. And Spirit is also saying the message for you guys that if some of you guys have been looking for that, but maybe it has been elusive and you've been like, yeah, I've been trying to get my enthusiasm back, but it's been really hard and I'm burnt out at work or whatever the case may be. This could be about, I'm hearing taking a new approach. I'm hearing some of you guys might be changing something, doing something a little bit different, tweaking it. Maybe you keep doing the same thing, and yeah, of course that's going to get boring and frustrating. And sometimes if we can just mix it up a little bit, it's kind of like if you've been doing the same recipe, but you decide to swap out one of the ingredients, kind of like how sometimes they'll make, like, you can make a regular lasagna, but you can make a Mexican style lasagna, and you can put in like green peppers and change the tomatoes out and make it layered tortillas or something. I don't know, but you know what I mean? And that can completely change it. Even though maybe it's like the same base, it's going to have a completely different flavor profile. Or if you've been cooking something the same way, but you add in like a new herb and you throw in like a bunch of like smoked paprika, it's going to taste very different. And I feel like that's almost like what you guys are learning to do is, it's like, how can I just tweak this? How can I alter it a little bit And I think that's going to give you a lot more fulfillment with your career. And I feel like you guys are very much focused on that in the month of June. But there is going to be romantic opportunities, especially if you're in a relationship. I feel like this month is going to bring you so much closer. You guys are probably going to have a really amazing month where you guys are really, really vibing and getting closer and closer. Because again, the Devil card coming out next to the Lovers, it really can be romantic. It can also be toxic sometimes. It can be like a trauma bond, but I am getting that vibe that it's kind of like us against the world. It's kind of like us, you know, holding hands together with each other against all odds and facing down whatever obstacles in life or whatever difficulty. So yeah, I feel like there's a really powerful connection. For those of you guys who are single, you may be possibly meeting someone that really wants something serious. And I also am hearing for those of you guys who are single that you may be making like a list of deal breakers or of requirements or of things you just feel like you really need to feel good in the relationship. And that's going to help you out as well, because it's almost like you need to do this for your own sake. You need to get your head on straight about what you want and what you don't want. And I feel like for you, you're really becoming clear on those things that you really need. And it's almost like you're getting closer and closer to that. And you may have more and more people who are stepping up and wanting to date you. But I feel like you're becoming pickier about what you're going to expose your energy to. So yeah, let me get some more. Let's get some oracle cards for you. Pile number 2. Yes, pile 2. Okay, let me clear these. And also with the High Priest, of course, the Hierophant, you guys can be very spiritual this month. And you could be doing spiritual practices, spiritual rituals, using your intuition, all of that. Let's get some more cards for you. Pile number 2. We want to know what's going to be happening for pile 2 in the month of June 2024. Benefactor, grace and generosity. Dust Devil, moving out of stagnation. Winter's Dream, gestation period, and Fortune's Wheel, luck and right timing. Nice. Love that card because it's such a benefic, beautiful card. Benefactor though, you guys might be attracting like a powerful client or doing really well. Like I said, at work, I feel like you're going to be sticking out and people are going to be noticing the job you do on a deeper level than they have before. Again, this could also be a partnership or a romantic relationship where the person is just really being very supportive of you, giving a lot to you. I feel like you are in that place where you're getting very clear about your own needs in relationships, your own needs in your workplace, all that jazz, what you want, what you like, what you don't like. And I feel like you're also getting a lot more bold about asking for it. Spirit is telling me that for some of you guys, you tend to just kind of go with the flow or almost assume like, oh, I can't ask for something like that, or I just have to like accept what I can get. So I'm not going to be like needy. I'm not going to be desperate. Let me just kind of like be low-key about it. Like there's some vibe about you, again, not wanting to ask or feeling like you can't ask or feeling like you just kind of need to accept whatever. And I feel like in June, you guys might really have it come to you where you realize you need to be the one to speak up. You need to be the one to say something. And that if you're not getting what you want, that you're the one who can change that. I feel like some of you guys are really using this month to unlearn certain patterns and like doing that shadow work where you are realizing your own personal power, realizing how much of an impact you have, because some of you guys have had a history of like devaluing yourself or thinking that, you know, no one's gonna really notice if I'm gone, or I'm not really like that appreciated, or like I feel like you don't even realize how freaking powerful you are and how valuable you are and how much you do for everyone else. Pile number 2, like you really add so much to so many people's lives, and so many of you guys don't even see it, which is the crazy part. Like you just think that you kind of are just like everyone else. And I almost feel like you have a fear where if you feel like you're asking for too much, then you assume that someone's going to leave you, or someone's not going to appreciate it, or someone's going to be like bored of you. And I think you need to know that it's the opposite. And actually, I feel like the more you can communicate and the more you can voice and the more you can ask and speak for what you want, I think you'll be surprised by how much people do like your energy, and people do want to do things to please you and to make you happy and to bring you joy and fulfillment. And so a lot of them are going to do exactly that. The more you can speak up and the more clear you can be, I feel like the more happy you're going to be. And I feel like some of this is really, like I said, unlearning your own traumas, unlearning your own issues with thinking that you deserve less and realizing that you deserve everything. You deserve so much, pile 3. So why were you ever settling for less? So maybe if this is a relationship, this could be someone coming in who's going to be really generous with you. Maybe monetarily, maybe emotionally, maybe energetically or spiritually. But I feel like there's someone that's coming in that really does want the best for you. And it's almost like once you have that contrast, you're like, oh my God, why was I ever putting up with anything else? And it kind of makes you realize how much you settled for in the past. And it doesn't have to be a person. It could be a thing. It's kind of like when you work a really good job. I always feel like I've had the most toxic jobs, but you realize that, wow, okay, actually at this workplace, I can't believe I ever tolerated that. Like once you have that comparison, you're like, oh, I don't need to put up with this. And once you get treated well in a relationship, you realize, oh my God, I can't believe I ever tolerated a boyfriend who didn't do blah, blah, blah. Or I can't believe I tolerated that level of stress, whatever the case may be. Or once you live in a new, nice, safe, quiet apartment, you're like, why did I ever put up with that apartment that had paper thin walls and the couple next door was like playing dubstep until like 3 a.m. every night and there were dogs barking and it was horrible. And you realize that I can't believe I ever thought I had to live like that. I can't believe I thought that was just what I have to expect and whatever, and I'm not going to freak out about it because this is just how it is. And you realize like, wow, I can have whatever I want. And I think you're kind of realizing that in the month of June. And I feel like the more you ask, the more you step forward in like an assertive way, the more you're going to be amazed at like how much you get what you want and how happy you are and satisfied with the results. Let's get some more cards for you. Pile number 2. What is going to be? Ooh, man holding a coin. Speaking of a benefactor, generous partner. Yeah, like I said, this could definitely be someone who's generous monetarily as well. And I feel like with man holding a coin, again, it's just the vibe of that person who's going to be generous and who's going to want to give and who's going to want to take care of you. And I feel like for you, it's kind of like mind altering to see like, wow, I really can be treated so well. Someone can really prize me in this way. And again, treat me like I'm a prize, And I feel like for you, again, it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be romantic, but it also could be a job, a friendship, whatever. But when you get treated with that level of kindness and genuine love, it's like, oh my God, how did I ever think anything less than that was okay, And I think that's what you guys are really realizing. You're realizing your own power. And I feel like you are not holding yourself back. It's almost like your whole energy is being shifted and changed and realigned to learn that life can be so much better than what you were expecting. That's why manifestation is so powerful. And people will talk about, I grew up in a family where they would always say, money doesn't grow on trees. How can you expect, me to pay this bill for you? How can you expect to get this present for Christmas? And so then they integrate that knowledge that I can't ask for more, and how it's so powerful to realign that and tell yourself, of course I'm going to get what I want for Christmas. Of course I'm going to have all the beautiful things in life. Of course I can get money or success or a beautiful relationship, whatever it is. But it really shows how limiting our mindset can be and how what we tell ourselves, the narrative we tell ourselves of what we deserve, what we can have, what we can't have, will end up being that self-fulfilling prophecy. So you guys also got blossoming abundance, action, appreciation, the sun. Again, I feel like you're learning to appreciate yourself, and maybe it's through the eyes of this other person, this other situation. Maybe it's at work, just getting more of that feedback from clients and from coworkers, and then being like, wow, you're doing so good, pile 2. But either way, I feel like this is about really changing your self-image and seeing yourself much more clearly for the value and the power that you bring to this world. So you're entering your sun era, you're glowing up and really shining shining as brightly as possible, and other people are noticing it. And I feel like it just becomes like a self-fulfilling loop. The more you appreciate yourself, the more you give yourself that feedback, the more you get it from others as well. Let's get some astrology dice for you. Pile number 2 for what's happening in the month of June. So we got the 3rd house, Gemini, Virgo, and Neptune, aka Pisces. So we have that Virgo Pisces axis. So the 3rd house, Gemini, and I definitely feel like this could be about communication. The 3rd house is the house of communication. Geminis are often amazing communicators, and yeah, they love to talk and learn and explore. And I feel like for you guys, this really is about you speaking up for yourself and you learning to voice it and you learning to say what's on your mind and not holding it back and just blurting it out. You know, so many famous Geminis, whenever there's like a famous celebrity for being like a loudmouth or for saying things that get them in trouble, they're always like a Gemini, whether it's like, and no offense to Geminis or anything like that. I happen to like Geminis a lot, but you know, Trump is a Gemini, Kanye is a Gemini. Anyone who like repeatedly gets themselves in trouble, I feel like is almost always a Gemini. And it's, in a way though, I think there's a power in that, because sometimes Geminis will almost say the thing that maybe has been percolating in the collective consciousness, but no one wanted to go there somehow, you know, or they're willing to just say whatever is on their mind. And it's almost like, as much as sometimes there may be something problematic about it, or there's something that irritates people or upsets people, it's also almost like that feeling of letting the pressure out of the room. Like, okay, so now we freaking said it. So now finally someone said it, so we can at least address it. We can at least talk about it. And I think that's better to deal with for me as a Mercury in the 1st house person. I'd rather have that than someone who's like keeping it inside, like a Libra who's, you know, something's bothering them, but they refuse to say it. And they're just kind of like, no, everything's good. Yeah, no, I'm happy. And you just know, you know, one of my exes had major Libra placements, and whenever they would be upset, I could just tell it, and I would always be like, can you just tell me what's wrong? I'm a 3rd house Aries, so I hate it. I'm just like, tell me. Please just blurt it out. I have like little to no self-control over like voicing what I'm upset about. So I could never understand like the Libran hesitancy of like, no, really, it's fine. And honestly, it created a lot of problems that I think could have been fixed and addressed if we just voiced it. And I think sometimes that's the hardest thing to do. Maybe you don't want to lose the person. Maybe you're afraid that if you say it, they're going to be upset with you. But ultimately, it takes a lot of bravery that I think Geminis have to just put it out there, say what it is, face whatever consequences. And sometimes, even if you totally disagree with everything being said, even if you're like, what? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. At least you know, at least it's out on the table and you can like kind of look at it and address it. And I feel like for you guys, this is really a theme for you in June, is like, how can you be the one to advocate for yourself? Say what's on your mind, stand up for yourself instead of bottling it up inside. And I think you'll be really pleased by the reaction. You might be shocked that like, oh yeah, no one did get mad at me. Like again, with that Libra placement X, I feel like a lot of the things really could have been so easily solved, and that was what was frustrating, is because I was like, I think I can fix this stuff, but if you don't tell me and you keep saying, yeah, it's fine, and I don't want to question you literally 400 times and be like, no, really, tell me, and then every time it's a block, and every time it's a no, and you're overthinking. So, you know, okay, fine, we'll pretend it's okay, but I can feel that energy. That's so much harder to deal with than someone that just is like, okay, so yeah, this is what's bothering me, blah, blah, blah. And we have the other Mercury ruled sign, Virgo, which has the same thing, that need to communicate, that need to voice it, that need to kind of look at it and see the truth and see the nitty gritty and the problems. And Virgo will point out those problems that no one else wants to say. That's what the Mercury energies have in common, Gemini and Virgo, even though they're very different. You know, they really have that energy of being like, I'm going to say it. No one else wants to address this, but this is what I'm going to say. And Virgo does it more in the form of like, how can I improve you? Let me point out a flaw that maybe no one else would tell you, that you have something in your teeth, or that you have some stain on your dress, but I'm going to be the one to say it, or that your place is really messy and you need to fix it, or that this is misspelled. But at the end of the day, aren't you more grateful when you have that friend that tells you like, oh my God, you have something, your hair is completely messed up in the back. As much as you might be initially annoyed for like 10 seconds where you're like, well, I really thought my hair looked good, you're going to be so much more glad that you didn't walk around a party with like complete rat's nest in the back of your head. So I feel like for you guys, again, this is kind of like realizing your power to communicate and realizing your own authority, because that's what it is. When we're afraid to say what we think, it's really that fear that someone's going to leave us unless we're like bending ourselves backwards and we're trying to pretend and we're being as nice as possible. And that's so Libra. It's so like prioritizing a partnership over the self. And I feel like for you guys, this is really about, maybe I can have the partnership and also be honest. Then we have Pisces. And I really feel like this could be your spiritual energy coming through as well. Pisces also has that kind of Libran tendency to ignore a problem, to pretend it's okay, to kind of overlook it, and then let it build. And then when a Pisces gets mad, they can get really mad and, you know, all bets are off. But I feel like that's the thing. Pisces is very self-sacrificing towards the collective. Pisces is very, let me make you happy and it's okay and I'm just going to be a martyr. And I think something for a lot of Pisces to work on is stepping into that energy of realizing there's not necessarily that much benefit to being a martyr, even though it feels good to us. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a Pisces. I love to be the martyr. I love it. I love to feel like a victim. Everyone says we play victim. I'm like, we aren't playing victim, we are victim, but we do enjoy it. That's the difference. Like we do enjoy it, whereas someone else might be like, oh, this sucks, I never want to feel this way. We kind of enjoy it. We kind of get off on it, but I think a journey for us to all realize is like there's no beautiful prize at the end of being a martyr, and this is your life to live, so you may as well be a little more selfish and stop sacrificing for everyone else. That's totally that Virgo Pisces axis, and bending over backwards for everyone else, and instead let me try to make sure I'm advocating for what I want instead of prioritizing everyone else's needs, and being amazed sometimes at the benefit you get as a result of that. And the fact that the more you are honest and the more you are self-serving, the more you will actually benefit, the more you'll get what you want. And that's a really hard lesson to learn for Pisces and for Virgos, I think, as well. But it's really worthy of doing that work and stepping into that. And then I think your relationships are often so much better than when you're like secretly resenting it, you're playing the victim, you're doing the martyr thing, you're getting off on it, but you're kind of making your partner into the villain when you do that, or you're making your coworkers into the villain. Like, so just be freaking honest and just say what's on your mind. So yeah, that is what I have for you. Pile number 2. I really hope that resonates. If it does, let me know down in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. I'm really curious about this pile, so I would love to know how it resonated for you. Also, make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button, subscribe, and if you want to see more of my content, head on over to my Patreon. Just posted a reading all about your sexiest qualities. So that's a fun, spicy 18+ reading. I just posted one as well, all about what you're carrying with you from past lifetimes, a little spiritual reading, and also what you're manifesting. But there's so many readings over there. There's love, career, money, like every topic that you could even imagine, we try to cover over there. All kinds of fun topics, heavy topics, whatever. And there are 85 exclusive readings you only get on Patreon. You also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos, so they always get posted over there on Patreon. They're first, pretty early, and you also get to vote and suggest on new topics. So it's very interactive as well. So all that sounds good to you and you want to join and sign up, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me over on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. If you want a half-hour session or an hour-long session, if you want it to be with tarot, with astrology, with channeling, if you want to ask me some real specific questions or just keep it very open, you get to really customize your session and make it work for you. So if you would like to book that slot with me, like I said, head on over to my website. Link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very soon in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 3, welcome to your reading. So let's get into your cards. You guys got the 6 of Swords, the 3 of Cups, and the Princess of Wands, aka the Page of Wands. You also got the Ace of Swords and the Queen of Swords. So what I'm getting right off the bat for you guys is there's a very fun social energy for you in the month of June. Some of you guys are going to be going out, socializing, talking, meeting a lot of new people, and there's a fun social energy just swirling around you. For some of you guys, I am seeing a vacation, like a tropical beach vacation. I feel like if you guys do go on vacation, you're not going to be just stuck inside the hotel room, like ordering room service by yourself. It feels like you're going to be out there socializing, enjoying, maybe like sightseeing, doing things, meeting people. If this is a month when you have been craving making new friends or meeting someone romantically, I feel like that would definitely be an energy that could be fruitful this month. You could end up completely forming like a totally new friend group. I feel like you could also be making really good connections when it comes to your career. This could be a good month for making new clients or for networking when it comes to your career. I feel like you guys are going to have a lot more confidence this month to almost like voice what you want, ask for what you want, say what you want, and to go after certain things that maybe in the past you would have been insecure about, or you would have been like, oh, how do I approach them? Oh, that's going to be awkward. And really, you're on your game with communication. We got the Queen of Swords, and she really is an excellent communicator. With the Ace of Swords, you might have some kind of insight about something you've wanted to ask for a really long time. So maybe there's something that you wanted, like a raise, or you wanted to change something in a relationship, and it's been kind of like inside your brain, like, how do I say this? How do I ask for it? Oh, I don't know how to go about this. And now you get the download of exactly how you're going to say it, how you're going to go about it. And I feel like this is really about you finding your own inner confidence, your own inner voice, and knowing your worth. So you're able to kind of communicate that, and the energy comes through in these interactions. And I feel like this is where maybe socializing comes in, because sometimes when we think that there's only one game in town, then we get really into that scarcity mindset. You know, it's like if we're in a romantic relationship and we've convinced ourselves that we're never going to find anyone else, and this is like the one and only shot we have, and this is the only guy I'm ever going to like, and you know, there's no other good guys out there, and then we have a fight, we're going to be in that scarcity mindset during the fight, and secretly deep down, even if we're trying to put on a brave face about it, we're going to be thinking, oh, I can't lose them. Or if we're at a job and we have convinced ourselves that we're never going to find another job, or we're not doing that great and we're so lucky to have this job, and like, oh my God, I really don't want to get fired and blah, blah, blah. Then when we go into that meeting to try to discuss the raise that we know we deserve, we're going to have the energy off, and we're going to be, even if we're trying to be like strong about it and saying, you know, I demand a raise, it's not going to come off as genuine and like authentic. It's going to come off as kind of fake and weird and just off-putting. So actually the best thing to do is to really build that inner core of self-worth, and that can come from different social interactions sometimes. Like if you know that your social skills are on point and that you can go out to a bar and, you know, meet a few new people and have conversations with them and laugh and have fun and enjoy yourself, then you're probably not going to be so hung up on that one person that you were dating or talking to, or on that friend that hasn't been really treating you that great, because you'll be like, oh, I can meet someone new tomorrow. Like, it's going to be easy. Or if you are doing really well with clients, all the clients are being like, oh my God, you're awesome, thank you so much. You're not going to tolerate the same level of disrespect from like your boss when they, you know, try to like lower your salary or something. So I feel like for you guys, it's almost like you're socializing, or you're finding your new identity in a way that's going to make you stronger and more powerful and more capable of speaking up and asking for what you really want. And this may come in the form of you really building up a kind of well-rounded identity on all levels of your life. Because I think sometimes when we hyper focus on one identity, be it our work life, be it our relationship, be it our friend group, whatever the case may be it our family, then the other part gets imbalanced. It's kind of like the most stable foundation, and fours in tarot generally symbolize a solid foundation, because 4 is the most solid foundation you can have. That's why tables have 4 legs most of the time, and you know, houses are mostly built with 4 sides. 4 is a really solid, stable, and that is, you know, very far and away from having one. If you were building a house on just one peg, or you had a table and it was just on one kind of like little leg balancing by itself, it would probably topple over pretty quickly. So that's why it's really important to build a whole life that is like fulfilling in every aspect, not just with work, not just with our one relationship, not just with our friends, not just with our family or whatever, or one hobby, but everything, so that we're able to navigate and like go into all areas of our life with that confidence and with that knowing and that contentment of like, hey, I'm doing great and I do know my value. So let me get some more tarot for you guys. Pile number 3, we want to know what is happening for pile 3 in the month of June. What is going to be happening for pile number 3 in the month of June? Okay, we got the moon. What is going to be happening for pile number 3 in the month of June 2024, Spirit? Okay, 2 cards coming out. The Knight of Wands, the Queen of Wands, and I love that they come out between the Princess of Wands. I just love that synchronicity, aka the Page of Wands. So lots of Wands energy. The Judgment card. And let's get one final card for you for the month of June. The Ace of Swords. So double Ace of Swords. Wow, that's very powerful. I love that there's a lot of synchronicities in this reading. It's almost like Spirit is saying like, hey, did I stutter? I told you what this reading is about. So yeah, we got the right cards. Love that. So let's start with the Wands, because we got the Queen of Wands, the Page of Wands, and the Knight of Wands. So there's a lot of Wands energy. And whenever you're dealing with Wands, you're dealing with passion, you're dealing with excitement, you're dealing with a lot of potential and energy. So you guys may find yourselves literally much more energized in the month of June. You may find you have physical energy and there's an excitement around you. And the Wands are often, you know, kind of the life of the party. Whenever you see the suit of Wands, like the Page, the Knight, the Queen, the King, generally speaking, they are charismatic. They often have a lot of sex appeal, and they really can be the life of the party. They're kind of that friend you invite out that, you know, they're going to end up dancing on the table with you. They're going to end up having some wild story with you where you end up running from the cops, hopefully not for doing a really serious crime, but you know what I mean? You end up telling the story later like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. We had such a wild night. It was so much fun. That's really like wand energy to me. And it's also very focused energy. When a wand suit or that wand fire energy wants something, it's going to go at it full force with so much intensity in that moment. If you think about a fire, you know, fire has the potential to like burn down a whole city in like no time, right? So when a fire wants something or it's going after it, it's going to go after it full force, and it's really so full of life. And I feel like with all this energy around you for the month of June, this may be getting your spark back. This could be if things have been stagnant for you or you haven't had a lot of excitement. This could be you going out and socializing and having a great time and like having a blast and really feeling alive, because that's really what the Wands fire energy represents to me more than anything, is people who live in the moment, people who are very emotionally present and feel things very intensely and aren't afraid of those emotions. So June could be a lot of fun for you guys. And also the Wands can be very, like I said, charismatic, very sexual, a bit of a flirt. So again, you might be attracting a lot of attention. The Queen of Wands is a very highly sexual card for the Queen. She's definitely the most sexual of the Queen cards, and she radiates a sexual energy. So for you guys, you definitely could be having a lot of admirers this month, having a lot of people noticing you. And again, I feel like this has to do with your confidence as well, whether this is to do with your actual dating life, whether this is to do with your career. It feels like people are noticing you, taking notice, and just kind of paying attention to you in a way that they really didn't before. I feel like some of you guys could even be reinventing yourself with that Judgment card and the Six of Swords. You may even be choosing to make a move, moving somewhere else, leaving something behind. I'm hearing, and I kept hearing it even as I was pulling cards for you guys, but I was like, oh, whatever. But now it's coming back again, and I'm like, oh, this is perfect for the reading. I'm hearing that song. I love to quote it. Selfish by Britney Spears. Honestly, one of my probably favorite songs, I guess, because I'm always mentioning it, but it's so good. And to me, it's such fire energy. And it's kind of that fun part of fire energy that is a little selfish, is a little self-centered, but is gonna ultimately, you know, have a great time and look after itself. And if you're ready to go along for the ride, they'll be loyal to you too, I guess, but they're really gonna focus on themselves and having fun, and you're just kind of enjoying being like a part of it. Like, to me, that's very fire energy, is someone that's just having a blast and living their best life and focusing on themselves and yeah, living life to the fullest. So I feel like that's what your guides want you to focus on for the month of June is like, how can you have more fun? How can you seek out more joy in your life, more fulfillment in your life, and do things that maybe are even a little risky that you maybe were wondering if you should. Like maybe you've been debating like, I kind of want to go skydiving, but I don't know, maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe it's too dangerous. And now you're like, I'm definitely going to do this skydiving thing. I feel like for a lot of you guys, this could be, again, flirting, getting into a relationship, really enjoying that, really enjoying the attention you get from that. And I also feel like for some of you guys, this is with the Queen of Swords, again, being willing to have some kind of a hard discussion. With the Ace of Swords coming out twice, again, I feel like there's a vibe that maybe there's something you've been putting off or something that you haven't been wanting to fully address. And it could be from a mental perspective. Sometimes it's even something that we don't even want to admit it to ourselves, right? Like there's something that is bothering us, but we kind of tell ourselves, oh, it's not a big deal, and oh, it's fine, and let alone being able to address it with the other person who's involved. But we don't even want to go there ourselves. We kind of want to, you know, cover our eyes and pretend that it's okay and just kind of act really chill, even though it does bother us and we know it. And I feel like for you guys in the month of June, this confidence you get from the other areas of your life allows you to confront whatever this is. Maybe it's something you've been putting off, like maybe you've been having issues with your finances and you haven't really wanted to take a look at it. And now you're going to be like, oh, I need to look at my credit card debt and I need to pay this off. Or maybe there's been a relationship issue that's been eating away at you. You haven't wanted to voice it. You haven't wanted to say what's going on. And now you're like, I have to have this discussion, or something with your job, with your career that you're kind of going to like really look at and be like, okay, why is this irritating me? Why is this really bothering me? And how can I really take a look at it and be very clear about what's going on and what I want and what I'm getting out of it? I feel like for you, this could be an emotional month as well with the Moon card coming out. And the Moon card can sometimes be a little delusional, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it can be when we're too emotional about a situation and we kind of should maybe look at it a little more clearly. I think this is where I like the idea of you filling your cup in other ways, having all this wand energy. It's almost like sometimes when we focus more on ourselves rather than things we want to change about the world around us, like sometimes it's about realizing that the only person we can fix or change, or the only situation we can really resolve, is ourselves. Everyone is on their own individual journey, on their own life path, learning their own lessons. And so there's no way we can kind of rush their part. Maybe we can see very clearly what they should be doing, what we would like them to do. Maybe we know deep down that they do have this growth potential in them and we can see all this potential, but at the end of the day, the only person we can focus on is ourselves. So sometimes the best thing to do is to leave behind that situation and be like, I can't keep putting energy into this. Another thing to do is just to accept them as they are and be like, yeah, that's how it is. So I'm going to focus on myself and I'm really not going to care as much about this person because whatever. But I feel like there's some, and it doesn't have to be just with a person, it could be with a situation, it could be with a work, an office situation, a job, a hobby, a living situation, anything that's giving us that frustration and that sense of disempowerment. Sometimes the best thing to do is to focus on the things we can control and having as much authority over that as possible. So yeah, I feel like for you guys, there's a situation that maybe is bothering you, and the more you're going out and the more you're enjoying yourself, the more confidence you're going to have when you're dealing with this difficult situation that really makes you realize like, oh, I don't really need to tolerate this anymore. Actually, I don't need to put a smile on and pretend everything is okay. You know, I can actually like face this head on because I am that girl. So yeah, you may also be getting like an admirer. We do have a lot of Wands cards. So it could be a Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius admirer coming in who wants to date you, who wants to have a romantic entanglement with you. I love that phrase from Jada Pinkett Smith. But yeah, I feel like a lot of you guys are almost like realizing how special you are this month and realizing your own power and realizing what you bring to the table in terms of like your energy. Because I feel like you guys really are so energetic and you can be the life of the party. You can really bring so much joy and happiness to others. So it's almost like, why don't I just like give myself that credit, you know, for everything I do for everyone else? And let me maybe be a little more selfish, because the moon also connects with Pisces, which is a very, it's, you know, in astrology, in tarot, it corresponds with Pisces. And in astrology, the moon obviously corresponds with Cancer. So for you guys, either way, Pisces is a very serving of others energy. It's a very let me prioritize the collective or other people over me type of energy, and let me give to others instead of myself. And the Cancer can do this as well because it is the mom. So it's definitely that, like, is everyone okay? Did everyone eat? How's everyone doing? Did you sleep well? Instead of focusing on the self. And I feel like for you guys, sometimes maybe you do have that tendency to kind of overgive. And this month is about really seizing that energy back and realizing that once your emotional cup is fulfilled, you're also going to be probably better at helping everyone else out or giving to others, because you're going to be the best version of yourself. So let me clear these and then we can get into some oracle cards as well for you. Pile number 3. So we want to know what is happening for pile 3 in the month of June 2024. Let's get some oracle cards going for pile number 3. Ooh, overflow, overwhelm, and plenty. Love to see that. So this could be a really good financial month for you guys. And also it could be a month, again, of just like lots of abundance in terms of dates, in terms of social events, in terms of activities you're doing. You guys just may find your social calendar very booked and busy at this time. Lay of the land, ancestral wisdom, and many masks, the authentic self. I'm getting a message for some of you guys that it's almost like your ancestors, there's something about your ancestors have dealt with a very similar situation to whatever you're dealing with now. I almost feel like there's an energy with you with people taking you for granted or not fully appreciating you, and you really feeling very like upset about that. And there's an energy coming through from your ancestors saying like, oh, I dealt with the same thing, or I definitely try to prioritize others over me as well. And I feel like what they're saying is you have to do what makes you happy at the end of the day. It's your life, it's your destiny, it's your journey on this earth. And I feel like for you guys, if you're not doing something that makes you happy, if you're not doing something that makes you fulfilled, in June, that could come to a head. And I also feel like it could come to a head in a good way of like, now you know what you deserve because you're having so much more fun. So it may not even feel like a negative thing. It may feel like a easy release. Sometimes when that energy is just done in our life, it just gets released. It just kind of floats away and like leaves us. And next thing we know, we're like, oh yeah, I remember. Oh, that energy left. That's so weird. It used to be a daily part of my life and now it's just gone. But I feel like for you, there's a message that you should be able to be your authentic self. You should be able to be honest about your needs, about your wants, about your desires. You should be able to feel comfortable and confident. And if you are in situations where you don't, then maybe that's all you need to know. I feel like this is really a month about you getting your self-respect back. This is a month about you finding the things you love and almost realizing all those silly little things that make you happy are so worthy and so special. So I don't know, maybe this could be about like going out, socializing, going to parties, flirting, dating. I feel like it's, yeah, because I'm hearing like how Stella got her groove back. So I feel like it's a time for you to kind of like heal yourself by living your life as vividly as possible. So if you're on vacation, going out, doing fun things, contacting friends, spending time with them, almost like putting some pep back in your step, getting some excitement flowing for you a little bit more. Let me get into these cards as well for pile number 3 for the month of June. Okay, the month of June 2024, not 2023, that's a year ago. Okay, man holding a heart. Yeah, you guys are going to have a lot of admirers this month, okay? You're definitely going to be looking good. People are going to be noticing you. People are going to be paying attention to you in the month of June, for sure. It's like all eyes are on you, and I feel like you're going to have so many romantic opportunities, and you're going to really realize how special you are and how much you bring to the table. Door to spirits, woman holding a coin. Ooh, love that. Man holding a heart, woman holding a coin. Love that for the ladies, right? Anyway, so you might be making bank. You might be really doing well financially. Journey, okay. Action. You might be getting some action and blossoming abundance. So yeah, things are really good for you. I feel like there's some energy about you really finding your confidence this month and really knowing that like you are that girl or that guy. Really like someone maybe in your past trying to make you doubt yourself, or you just following into a pattern of doubting yourself. And this is kind of about finding your joy again. This is kind of about going back into yourself and realizing all the ways you may have made yourself smaller or sacrificed yourself to make other people happier. And I feel like you're going to be amazed that as you get empowered, as you seek out your own joy, your own happiness, your own fulfillment and abundance, being amazed at the effect that has on others and how they react and how they respond to it, and the way that they might be like, wow, you know, I'm so grateful. And yeah, like I can feel this energy shift in you. I can feel how much happier you are. Sometimes we think by over giving and pouring ourselves out to someone else all the time and giving them all our energy, all our attention, all our time, that they're going to value us. But really the opposite is true. And most of the time, the more we overgive, the more that person might take us for granted or be like, of course that's how it should be. Of course you're giving everything to me. So I feel like in the month of June, this is almost like, how can I make myself happier? And then if you feel good as a result too, then that's awesome, but I'm really focused on myself. And again, Siri play, Britney Spears Selfish, this is about taking that selfish approach that actually I think a lot of fire signs, like they're really fun to be around, but they are kind of fundamentally selfish. Most fire is selfish. Whether you're talking about Aries, whether you're talking about Leo, whether you're talking about Sagittarius, there's always going to be a selfish quality to fire energies. And I feel like, though, that's the thing is like, I really enjoy being around fire energy. Maybe it's because I have Venus, Aries, and then Leo, 7th house. But I really like to be around fire signs. I always get along with them, and I think they're a blast. And I think most people like fire signs. Like, they're funny, they're fun, they're exciting. So it's funny because we tend to associate selfishness with like such negativity, and oh my god, if they're selfish, they're so draining. But fire signs are kind of the exhibit A that like it's not necessarily true. Sometimes when someone is just focusing on themselves, actually they can give so much more to others. They can be so much more generous. They can be so much more fun to be around than someone that is constantly trying to like put everyone in front of them, and then they're resentful and they're kind of mad and they're kind of being quiet because they don't feel like it's fair. You know what I mean? So it's weird. Counterintuitively, I feel like fire signs are one of the more popular signs in the zodiac. Like, people love fire most of the time, and I don't usually hear people going on rants about how much like Aries suck or Sagittarius suck, even though sometimes they might, you know, maybe it's because they're afraid of those signs. I don't know, but usually it's other signs that get named when someone's ranting or the internet is deciding that a certain sign sucks. And of course, you should never do that based on someone's sun sign. It's so ridiculous. But I feel like fire signs are pretty universally popular. And the funny thing is they're super selfish. So like I said, even though we think we have this fear, this panic, that the more we focus on ourselves, the more people are going to hate us. They're not going to like it. You know, we're going to drive them wild. It's actually the total opposite. And the more we are glowing up and focusing on filling our own cup and making ourselves happy, the more people will be magnetized to us and think of us as exciting, think of us as fun, and want to be around us. Let's get some astrology dice for you. Pile number 3. What is happening for pile 3 in the month of June? And this spun over to Sun, which is Leo. Love that. And then we have Aquarius and Aquarius, 11th house. So double Aquarius. Let's spin this one more time. 10th house, aka Capricorn. Okay, so let's start with Capricorn. So Capricorn is the house of honors and public recognition. It's also the house of career. I feel like for some of you guys, this is you focusing on your career, and maybe people really paying attention to you and noticing you in the month of June. You might be on a lot of people's minds, and they might be able to perceive publicly this kind of glow up you've gone through, or this shift in your energy where you do seem like you're pouring a lot of this energy back into yourself. The 10th house, like I said, is career, and you guys might be doing well financially. I feel like it's like the more balance you're having in your life, the more you can build that stable foundation, which Capricorn loves, of course, because it's an earth sign. The more you're going to be able to feel confident in every arena. It's almost like the more negotiating power you have, you know, whenever you know that other areas of your life are doing well too, the more you'll be able to come in and march into the room and with confidence ask for what you want. So I feel like that is something that is happening for you guys. We also have the 11th house of hopes and wishes coming true, but also large groups of people, friendships, large groups. So again, I feel like there's a really strong socialization energy happening around you, like people inviting you to things, going to events, people wanting to hang out with you, and people really noticing you and taking note of you this month. You might be on everyone's mind and everyone's lips, your name on everyone's lips, everyone kind of paying attention to you. And I feel like I'm also hearing that song Bejeweled by Taylor Swift, such a fire sign song, and she is a Sagittarius. And I feel like for you, this is really about finding that confidence and finding that power and realizing everything you bring to the table and how easily we forget that, right? Like even Taylor Swift is having to write a song to remind herself of like, I'm freaking Taylor Swift and you should be lucky you're with me, because even she can get into relationships where she's doubting that, she's feeling like a loser, you know? So that just shows you all of us can fall into this like negative spiral where we doubt ourselves, we don't see our own power. And I really love that this month you're going to see it full force. You're going to really remind yourself of everything you do bring to that table. Then we have the sun, and of course the sun, Leo, is the center of the universe, the center of the galaxy, at least. I don't know the whole universe, I don't know, but I'm not a space person, but other than knowing astrology, I guess. But the sun, of course, the earth rotates around the sun, gets all its energy from the sun. The other luminary, the moon, only reflects back the energy and the light from the sun. So that's how powerful the sun is. I read some stat that was like the sun makes up 99% of the mass in the solar system, which is freaking insane. And even if you took away the sun, I forget the exact statistic. If you took away like a part of the sun or something, it would still make up like 86%. I'm totally butchering that, but my point is the sun is absolutely huge and does so much for us. And I feel like for you guys, you know, you are starting to really realize that power. You are starting to really feel that in yourself and reminding yourself of who you are. I think that's something that people sometimes hate about Leos, and they'll say, oh, Leos are narcissists, oh, Leos are so selfish. But actually a lot of Leos will give back to you as much as you give to them, and they will be so generous with you, and they just want to like shine and be as bright as possible. And then they want that for everyone. And I feel like for you, you know, this is you moving away from situations that took you away from your light and power, and really questioning, why did I ever tolerate that? Why did I ever accept kind of not great behavior? Why did I ever accept someone treating me like an afterthought or like a not really super important? And this is like, how can I step into that energy of truly knowing my worth and truly celebrating myself on a really deep level? Yeah, so that is what I have for you. Pile number 3. I really hope it resonated. If it does, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you guys. I'm very curious about this pile, so please let me know, and make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button, subscribe. If you want to see more of my content, head on over to my Patreon. I just posted a reading all about what makes you sexy, what your sexiest quality is. So that's a little fun, spicy 18+ reading. Before that, I posted one all about what you're manifesting, as well as what you're carrying with you from past lives. So that's a deep spiritual reading, but there's so many readings over on Patreon, over 85 exclusive readings. There's love, career, money readings, every kind of topic under the sun you could imagine. And you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So they always get posted over on Patreon first, usually way early. So if that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me over on Patreon. Also, if you would like to book a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. You can do a pre-recorded reading or a live session, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you. You get to really customize your reading so that it really fits you and what you want to get out of it. If that sounds good to you and you want to book a slot with me, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon in another reading. So take care, guys, and I will see you then. Bye.